All right. Hey everyone. Okay. So I made good progress. I got monsters. Um, I got representational graphics for all of the enemies currently in the game. This is not the full list of enemies that will be in the game. No. There there will be a little bit more than this. Actually, probably this is probably about half. Um, but yep, I have everything from like the evil like beast, like hell beast here, who moves super fast, like gets up in your face. I got the grenadier, which is basically just a dude with a fat dude with like kind of like armor, kind of like clenching his body fat or something. So it's just like fat and like he's kind of bloated zombie dude with like a Bane mask or some shit going on. And you got your fast zombie, um, kind of decrepit, like torn up, sort of like ghouls from Fallout. And you got the chain gunner guy. Now a lot of these guys are gonna look a lot better when they actually have their actual weapon. Right now with the grenadier and the minigunner, they're using just stand-in models because I don't have view models for those two weapons, the grenade launcher and the minigun yet. But maybe this week. I'm thinking that this week though, I'm going to focus on something that I think is a selling point for a lot of people, and that is an actual mini map. Like being able to like press M and look at the map and see where you are and like see the layout of the level. And I think I actually have a good idea on how to do that. I'm actually going to have a little room outside of every map that has a diorama of the level itself, but just the floors, and have like a cool shader on each of those tiles. So it'll be like, um, you'll be seeing like the floors and stuff like that. And when you press the button, it takes you into the minimap mode where it's like a black screen. It just switches cameras from the player camera to the minimap camera, and then it switches back when you switch it off. And basically, you you could see where you are, and then you see like the floor of all of the spaces like in the entire map and stuff like that. So there could be a little bit more going on too. Like I can have icons for like where all the objects are and stuff like that. And the neat thing about that is that you'll be able to rotate it, you'll be able to look at it and zoom in and zoom out and stuff like that, and it'll be pretty easy to read. Um, the difficulty isn't really that bad when it comes to like just making a diorama of the level. All you do is just uh, grab the floor tiles in each and every one of the areas and then just scale them down by like some factor. And then I just make sure that the that it's relative to the origin of the world, and the blueprint for the mini map that holds the camera and everything like that will just use like a basic mathematical function to look at the locations of all of the objects that I'm going to superimpose onto the diorama. Uh, we'll just have we'll just look at the locations and multiply them by a value, which would make them which shrinks them down accordingly to the same aspect ratio of the diorama. So, yeah, that's something that maybe it'll be total hell to do, but I actually kind of think it is what it is. Like it's not gonna be that crazy. Um, it'll probably only get crazier when I decide to like let you kind of like zoom in and zoom out, and then I have to figure out, do I just let you see the entire map from the very beginning, or do I like have you like have to find like little stations or something in order to unlock sections of the map. All of which are totally doable. In fact, it's a little bit of a system in and of itself, but like maybe you have to find those like auto map thingies. Like maybe that's just a big part of the game in order for you to actually see the map. You have to find these little map stations and then download the map for that area. And maybe there can be 2 or 3 of them per level, and like you just have to find them. Some of them could kind of be hidden secrets, and some of them can be fairly obvious. Could be kind of an interesting way to do it. So with that said, yeah, the enemies are all representations. The reason why I say they're representations is because what I want to do with these things is make sure that I export each body part individually, and then have them move on pivots or pivot them to skeletons or points so that I can animate them. These characters do not have animations yet. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty good. Like this guy is big. He's a really big enemy, and he spawns in just fine. Everything works. All right. So another thing that I did is I added explosive barrels into the world. Now explosive barrels reset when you die, and the damage of the explosion is based on the damage of the explosion is based on the level of the person who exploded the barrel. So if somebody who's like level 10 explodes a barrel, it'll do equivalent damage at level 10. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I have a bunch of those now. I've also increased the difficulty of this area. That is another thing that's about Dark Souls and stuff like that, is that the game's difficulty tends to be pretty high. I think that's generally going to be true with this as well. You're not going to have a free ride through this game. You're going to be struggling, and you're probably going to die a lot. And then that's just an aspect of Dark Souls that's really cool, and is not going to be absent in this game either. My main issue with the first area, though, is that you start off with just a pistol, and I don't give you a gun other than the pistol until after the first fight. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to complain about that. Maybe because it's like you have all these enemies, but I spawn barrels, exploding barrels. Actually, let me show an exploding barrel right now so you can kind of get an idea of what one looks like. There's an exploding barrel, and then here's a normal barrel, non-exploding barrel. These are kind of just sort of plopped around, but the exploding barrel looks like this, and if you shoot it, it explodes and does damage in a radius around it and everything like that. If you use these exploding barrels carefully, you can actually take out swaths of the enemies that are in this fight all in one shot, and they'll die instantly, pretty much. So that's a good thing about that. That's like an interesting aspect about it. After the first fight, though, you get the shotgun, and then I kind of load you down with all the rest of the guns pretty quickly after that, and like you start seeing like a pretty strong variety. Also, too, over here is a level 2. This is a level 2 pistol container, and pistols tend to you tend to end up getting like pistols and stuff like that, and you might hit level 2 if you're struggling with the first area, and this can give you a pretty good advantage. My only fear about that is that if you use the auto pistol too liberally, you will run out of ammo, and well, you got to be careful about running out of ammo. especially when you only have one gun. And even with the auto regen, that'll pretty much end your experience trying to do that fight. So with that said, the game is not meant to be easy. It's actually kind of meant to kick your butt. It's not as bad as Dark Souls, I don't think. But then again, I haven't. The game's difficulty hasn't really hit its stride. It's like only after you start to go a little bit into the dark base will you begin to notice that I'm throwing tougher and tougher enemies. I'm like there's just a hell beast right here, and that's it. Like he's a normal enemy now. And there's the enemies can kind of flank you in this spot, and like every once in a while, and you'll start to kind of notice that the fights are going to get a little bit more shaky. Like you're not gonna like this area over here. I spawn a whole bunch of bad guys, but I might actually even make it so now like those bad guys spawn behind you, so like you get attacked from both directions. So like you'll be here, and there'll be enemies coming from this way, and then there'll be enemies coming from that way. So you can't just like run back and hide, by the door. So yeah, there's going to be a higher difficulty to contend with as well. With all that said, the game is in really good shape right now as far as what I need for the demo. The only thing that's left is the quality menu, and so I'm looking at that right now. But there's stuff to there's like levels that I can load up at the moment where I can kind of see how it's being hooked up, and I'm going over that. I might stream later tonight, maybe around 10, or it'll be like a pretty late night stream. But basically, all of my energy is going into making sure that I get this menu hooked up and working. So you have your master volume, like making sure that the volume for everything is working correctly. So you have like your video mode. You can choose like how you want this all to go. There's even one level here that is a title screen basically, and it's beautiful. It's exactly what I need. And the way the game is set up right now, it'll work perfectly with a title screen. As soon as you click on uh, start game, or new game, or continue current game, it'll just drop you right into the world where you need to be with all your stuff. It already works. Yeah, I mean it's in really good shape. Like as far as I can tell right now, outside of like getting multiplayer to work, which I have a pretty good idea on how I want to do that as well. Multiplayer is just straight up like whoever the host is the one that is the leader, and like whoever joins you, maybe like you have one other person join you, you play together. Both of you get loot and both of you get experience points and stuff like that. But like the host is the one who has to initiate the home points and has to initiate the main things. Like the other person is there just to help out. Um, and that makes things a lot simpler, I think. So like that's the basic structure of it. I don't know what like unique game settings I'm going to do for the game because the difficulty is basically bred into the leveling system already in the game. Like if you don't die, the game gets harder because you'll you won't be constantly accruing experience points for fighting the same enemies over and over again. That means that like you'll have to like actually like decide to grind stuff maybe, or if you want to give yourself that edge, or you can just kind of go through it and you'll like be level 4 fighting level 6 or 7 things in the dark base, and that makes things a lot tougher staying alive. um I've also thought about having a little icon that's on the screen for when you that stays there when you have a new character, and it goes away the first time you die. So anyone who's watching you play on stream or anything like that, they'll see that icon. They'll know that you haven't died yet. And that's kind of the hardcore mode. So with all of that, I mean, this is awesome. There's like show my FPS, scene rendering, like shows general rendering statistics is a good starting point to find general areas of slow performance. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is even going to be good for development, where I can just kind of test to see uh, if there are areas that are slower than others. So this is really good, and that's about it. That's really all I wanted to do. I just wanted to update on all this. The game literally, I just need to get this menu working right now. I'm kind of slumping through it a little bit, and I'm planning on going out to this thing called Sunfest a little bit later today, but that's about it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end this video now. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. And tomorrow I'm going to be promoting the game a lot more. I'm going to be actually trying to put it up on Reddit and stuff like that. Well, at least as soon as I get this working. As soon as I get the menu, the options menu, and everything like that, then yeah, like it's going to be time to start pimping this project out and seeing if I can get some interest in it, and see if I can get people talking about, like, I don't know, giving me advice on like how I can survive while I'm working on this, because I want to finish this game. As far as I can tell, what I've got in place right now shows that the engine's not going to like completely flip out on me. It might just magically die, but I keep backups all the time. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna end the video now. This time for real, and